the man turned around and noticed something bizarre. Even though it was already the end of the world, a large group of strangers was walking toward him. He immediately turned and sprinted back to his camp, because in the 10th year after the apocalypse, there were only a few thousand humans left on the entire planet. Now that a group armed with daggers had appeared, it could only mean they were up to no good. August was so terrified that he fell to the ground. His father nearby finally heard the noise too. When he looked closely, the group was already just a few dozen meters away. His battle-hardened father knew this was going to be another fierce fight. But at that moment, August suddenly froze, because his already infected wife was lying right next to him. Watching his father frantically pack their bags, August didn't snap out of his panic until his father shoved the luggage into his hands to help. But right now, the strangers were closing in on the camp. His father had no choice but to kick open the wooden boards and rush the family out through the back door. In this apocalyptic time of scarce resources, the consequences of being caught were unimaginable. Seeing that simply running away wasn't going to work, his father could only open the lid of a nearby toilet. To save his son and daughter-in-law, he shoved both of them down into it. He planned to face these apocalyptic desperados himself, but with just his strength alone, how could he possibly be a match for a whole group? At first, the old father actually managed to take down a few of them. However, within seconds, he was struck down by a direct blow from a club. But the couple could do nothing at this point. They watched helplessly as his father's throat was slit right then and there. But to survive, they had to endure it. Yet, something even more deadly happened. The group had entered their camp, and found the luggage August had accidentally dropped earlier. Inside were extremely precious pills. In this post-apocalyptic world, most people were already infected. They could barely hang on only by relying on this kind of medicine. But seeing the pills taken by these people, what was August supposed to do for his infected wife? Watching his father being carried away on a pole like hunted prey, August planned to wait until they left before coming out. But as the group walked past the toilet, the leader seemed to notice something unusual. Underneath a loose pile of sticks, something was clearly off. August quickly covered his wife's mouth, when the leader crouched down, and was about to lift the toilet to investigate. August hurriedly pulled hard on the wooden board. This finally stopped the leader standing outside. But what exactly was inside? The leader felt especially curious. Was there some kind of supply stored here? He leaned down and took a hard sniff. The pungent smell made him cough repeatedly, and the couple successfully evaded detection. It wasn't until the group of strangers had completely left that August crawled out of the toilet. By now, the camp was a complete mess. All their supplies had been completely looted. But how were they going to survive the apocalypse now? Not to mention, his wife was already severely infected. She was even lying in bed, completely devoid of energy. August looked at her increasingly worsening wounds. He wanted to see if there was a box of pills left by the bed, but when he picked it up to look, it was already completely empty. Seeing his wife lying there in unbearable pain, he suddenly had an impulsive thought for a moment. He held a pillow, intending to end it all. But after all, this was the wife he loved. In the end, August just couldn't bring himself to do it. But how were they going to survive going forward? To find the pills to save his wife, August left their only remaining water for her. Then he stepped out and carefully hid the camp. After that, he embarked on a journey to track down that group of strangers. Following the trail of his father's blood dripping on the ground, August searched all over the wilderness. However, the temperature had already dropped to -20 degrees. He was wearing nothing but a short-sleeved shirt and shorts. Before long, August collapsed onto the ground. His consciousness also began to blur. Hunger and cold assaulted him at that moment. But in his daze, he noticed something. In the distance, a little boy seemed to be passing by. Naturally, August didn't let the opportunity slip away. He silently trailed behind the boy, until the boy finally noticed him upon reaching home. Only now, there was no way to escape even if he wanted to. The boy shut the gate tightly the moment he returned. Facing August closing in step by step behind him, the boy quickly hid beside his grandpa. But you have to know that anyone driven to a dead end will erupt with tremendous strength. August was no exception. He kicked the iron gate open in a flash. However, he didn't hurt the two of them. Instead, he took the grandpa's clothes. He then continued on his journey to find the strangers, but he had no idea what he was about to face. Continuing through the winter forest, there were still some bloodstains on the ground. August finally made a new discovery, but what it gave him was a devastating blow. Looking at the scattered skeleton on the ground, August held back his grief and buried his father in the dirt. Now was not the time to keep grieving. He had to hurry up and find that group to get the pills. Otherwise, his wife back home would soon die. But now, with no bloodstains to point the way, August had to climb a towering tree, so he could keep tracking the group's whereabouts. Soon, he saw traces of smoke up ahead, but right at that moment, he failed to watch his step. August accidentally fell from the tall tree. Before he could even react, something even more terrifying appeared. The howling of a large pack of wild dogs echoed from the distance. August tried to get up and leave, but dragging his newly injured body, August could only come up with a desperate plan. These animals were all afraid of fire. All he had to do was light the campfire left behind by that group. As the sun gradually set, August's campfire had been lit, and he was actively fueling the flames. Before long, the wild dogs came out in full force. August waved his torch in the dark, which seemed to actually work. The wild dogs all hesitated to advance any further. Ultimately, he successfully dodged a bullet. Until the next day, when the fire died out, August slowly woke up from his deep sleep. Fortunately, he found something today. Continuing along the small river in the forest, a patch of blood floated down the water. The group of strangers had sent a woman out to wash a dagger. This happened to be spotted by August not far away, but he didn't dare make a rash move just yet, because finding their main camp was his true goal. Following the woman's trail, August quickly found the camp. The pills had to be hidden in the camp for sure. Seeing that the woman was alone in the camp, he initially thought about just charging right in, but to his surprise, these people were extremely cautious. They had even set up a bell trap. This couldn't help but make August pay even closer attention, but fortunately, August successfully made his way over with a rock. However, after a careful search, the pills didn't seem to be in the bag that was taken earlier. Left with no choice, he had to rummage through everything. Yet what August failed to notice was that he and the woman immediately got into a scuffle. Even though August was in terrible physical shape right now, relying on the rock he had picked up, he quickly bashed the woman to the ground. This time, he quickly found a new direction. There was an RV parked nearby. August promptly started searching inside it, but right as he was searching everywhere, the group of strangers returned. August had to quickly wipe away the bloodstains, conceal the signs of the recent struggle, and drag the woman aside to hide. But what August didn't know was just what kind of opponents he was facing. The moment these people returned to camp, they also brought back the boy they had captured earlier, and the leader was incredibly cautious. Upon returning, he immediately noticed a mirror had been moved. He promptly ordered his men to tie up the boy, while he went to the river to look for his female teammate. August knew that hiding here wasn't a long-term plan. Seeing that the group had gone out in full force, August quickly covered the woman with leaves. Then, while they were all searching the forest, August stealthily crawled over to the camp. Except there was still an infected person guarding the camp now. August waited until the guy went back to the RV before crawling out. He planned to rescue the boy first. But frustratingly, the boy thought August wanted to hurt him, and yelled loudly outside. The infected person inside couldn't take it anymore, and planned to step out to take a look. By this time, it was already too late. August had already untied the boy's ropes. Seeing this, the infected man hurriedly gave chase. Meanwhile, August rushed over to the camp, and found a locked box. The pills just had to be inside. However, no matter how hard he kicked, he couldn't pop it open. And by now, the leader had also returned. August had no choice but to temporarily hide under the RV. Coming back this time, they had found the knocked out woman. August hid under the vehicle, not daring to move a muscle. It wasn't until early the next morning, while everyone was fast asleep, that August took the chance to quietly slip into the RV. This time, right around the leader's neck, he successfully found the key to the box, and things went exactly as August expected. After he opened the box, all the pills were hidden inside. August quickly shoved the pills into his pocket. Then he went to the front of the RV and locked it up tight. Only then did he feel safe enough to leave. However, perhaps August was too thrilled. While preparing to escape, he accidentally brushed against the alarm bell. The ringing awoke the sleeping leader, and that small door lock couldn't hold them back at all. August ran for his life through the forest, while the leader behind him had brought out his men in full force. Before long, they were about to catch up to August's pace, but relying on his knowledge of the terrain, August quickly shook them off. Running wildly all the way, he arrived at the boy and grandpa's place. He originally just meant to come here to hide for a bit, but upon entering, he immediately spotted wild dog footprints. When August walked in to take a look, the scene inside was already too gruesome to look at. This almost made August faint right there. He walked out in a daze. Facing the strangers pursuing him from behind, August had lost all will to fight back. By the time he woke up from his coma again, he had been tied to the ground by them. A thick, smoky fire was burning right next to him. August knew he was going to lose his life very soon. Fortunately, in his despair, he spotted a dropped whistle nearby. While everyone was busy building the fire, August grabbed the whistle with his mouth and blew it hard. The sharp sound pierced through the entire forest, and this was guaranteed to attract the vicious wild dogs. Hearing this, the leader quickly kicked August away, but it was already too late. The howling of a massive pack of wild dogs echoed all around. The wild dogs came swarming in toward the sound. The group of strangers scattered and fled into the forest. And taking advantage of such a perfect opportunity, August quickly untied the ropes binding him. He then hid beneath a large tree to the side, successfully dodging the wild dog's pursuit. After catching his breath for a few minutes, he knew that the group of people had now been separated. So he rigged his clothes as a decoy by the tree, and took the chance to jump down from the tree to ambush them. Just like that, in no time at all, August, relying on his incredible stamina, quickly took out two of the henchmen. Finally, he set his sights on the leader. Except the leader wasn't going to be that easy to deal with. Even though August had a stolen bow and arrow in hand, and had even shot the leader directly in the thigh, when he tried to deliver a fatal strike, he accidentally snapped the bowstring. For a moment, the two had no choice but to duel with daggers. But luckily, the sound of wild dogs suddenly struck again. August took advantage of the momentum and fled. The two were forced to temporarily seek their own cover. Not long after, August suddenly discovered an abandoned house out in the wild. Surely there had to be at least some food here. But when he got closer to take a look, the homeowner had already stopped breathing long ago. Thankfully, August still reaped a little reward. he found a weapon on the homeowner's body. And there were even more surprises inside the house. When August walked in and looked closely, a large amount of survival tools were stored inside. Moreover, there was another weapon on the table. This was perfect. August now had 2 weapons in hand, but danger was always lurking. Just as he was packing up some food, a noise suddenly came from behind him. August fixed his eyes on it, only to realize the leader had caught up to him. But since he now had 2 weapons, August, completely unworried, directly aimed his weapon right at the leader. Awkwardly, however, there were no bullets. At this, both of them were a bit stunned. But soon, they engaged in their final showdown. Meanwhile, on the other side, the wife back at the camp was jolted awake from her deep sleep by the wild dogs howling. In her panic, she had no choice but to fight through her infected body, and prepare to get up to hear clearly. But as a result, when she made it to the gaps between the wooden boards, she indeed saw a massive pack of wild dogs sprinting her way. The wife realized that she might be in grave danger right now. Meanwhile, back on the other side, August was still dueling with the leader. Just as August was being choked by the neck, he used all his strength to swiftly kick the leader away. Turning his head, he finally remembered he had another weapon. Just like that, August completed his final counterattack, but what he didn't know was what all of this was even for. Perhaps it really was for his beloved wife. But how could he know how his wife was doing right now? Relying on his very last ounce of strength, August ran wildly all the way and finally made it back to his camp, only to find the main gate wide open, and no trace of his wife inside. Was everything he had done all in vain? Disbelieving, he slumped onto the ground. And at the end of the film, the director delivered a bizarre ending.